In today's video, I'm sorting out that problematic backswing, the old chicken wingaroo. Let's get you sorted. Come join me. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I've got an absolute belter of a video. Struggle with your right arm, struggle with your backswing, chicken wing, all of those things, right shoulder, worried about how that moves. Well, this video is for you. The right arm in the backswing, I'd say is a bit of a problem child. How people use their right arm, and a lot of it is based on their own understanding. Also, the influence of the right arm at the top of the backswing is very much linked with your takeaway. Now, if you've watched my videos on the takeaway, you'll understand I talk about the pressure in the pad of the left hand, the butt of the golf club down, the right arm moving up in front of us. This pressure down through the butt and this pressure up through the lower hand really starts to make the golf club work away like most people would want to see, with the club head more out in front of the handle. How the club then transitions at the top of the backswing is a biggie. People often come to me talking about, oh yeah, I've always had my right elbow out back here, and I've always crossed the line. Incidentally, you notice I've got a little bit civilian on it today. I'm off today, but I'll come in to do a video just for you. If I show a little bit of midriff, I do apologise, the jump's a bit short. So the right elbow gets a little bit out and the club shaft crosses over. Let's talk about why that might be. Understanding these faults is way better than me telling you how to fix them. Changing your understanding, for me, is a way better way. Let's talk about the right arm at the top of the backswing. The right arm at the top of the backswing obviously can move in any orientation here. It can move back behind the shoulder, can move in front of the shoulder. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn and face the camera. What we're looking for through strike as much as possible when we make contact is this hand to be in front of the shoulder to create a push rather than a pull. As soon as the hand moves behind the shoulder, the pivot point of the arm, we are pulling the golf club. If the hand is in front of the shoulder, we are pushing the golf club. If we're pushing the golf club, now the handle is moving in tandem with the rotation of the chest, and I can create a force down on the handle far better than I can if the hand is outside the shoulder. Therefore, when we get to the top of the backswing and the right hand drifts back behind the shoulder, it will be more inclined to turn inwards than outwards. If you move your hand outside of your right shoulder and then you try to rotate your right arm to the right, this is for a right-handed golfer, you're going to really find some restriction. It's about 15 degrees of external rotation. It's not much. When we're therefore at the top of the backswing, depending how much the arm is out of orientation with the chest, the more likely the right arm is to turn internally. And when the right arm turns internally at the top of the backswing, the right elbow pops up and high, and it makes the club shaft cross over at the top. Where does this come from? Well, there's a few things. First of all, we're going to go back down to the feet again and talk about the pelvis. The more the pelvis moves sideways in our backswing, because we believe that we need to transfer into the right leg. Once again, the right hip elevates, the shoulder pitch is restricted by tipping a bit more left, and the turn is restricted. If I'm then short in my turn, my arm must run over and carry on, because otherwise, if I made my arms and chest work together, I'd have a pretty short backswing. It would start to look something like this. Pelvis would work back, short in turn, club crosses over, and off we go. pretty shocking contact. The remedy to getting the right arm in a better spot is first of all appreciating from the belt downwards you need to improve your mobility. And if you watch some of my videos on the footwork, just pull my jumper down, in the footwork you will start to see how the pelvis works, or how you can make your pelvis work a little better. Now that I've got myself moving my lower half a little better, I can now start to increase a little bit of shoulder turn. Now the shoulder turn starts to move further. Now this right arm has way less to do and overrun. And in doing that, my right hand now has an opportunity to be way more in line with the right shoulder. If the right arm is more in line with the right shoulder, now I have a better chance of making my right arm turn outwards. And it's about the right arm turning outwards, externally rotated, that will actually change the pitch of your elbow. If you think about the elbow and trying to tuck it in, you could still turn the arm in, and all of a sudden you've now created restriction. By turning the arm outwards, it'll actually give you more mobility. It'll feel like the arm is working, which is way better. So we begin to start to look a little bit more like this at the top of the backswing. Gosh, that was a poor strike, Stuart. Let's try that one again. So more externally rotated with the right arm at the top of the backswing, and off we go. I was able to get my right arm in a better spot at the top because I started to move my lower half a little fuller. Now that seems all well and good. Stuart, you're telling me to rotate my right forearm in the backswing. But of course, for a lot of people, doing that gave them the willies. Because if they rotated their right arm externally early on, all of a sudden, can you see how their golf club would whip itself inside? Therefore, the right arm's track in a backswing should more likely be internal rotation initially, external rotation in the latter parts of your golf swing. So as I make a backswing, more internal rotation, you can see how the club projects itself more out to the ball line, and now external rotation gets the golf club laid down a little bit more, laid off in old money, but it changes the way the right arm works, which changes the way the elbow works, which will change the way the shoulder works. Takeaway often affects how this right arm works at the top. This little drill here that will help you out is, it's actually a balance pad. But to give you some sort of idea how you would want to use your arms, it would want to feel like you turn the steering wheel to the left. You can see how my right hip is still rotating. And then as I take my arms up to the top, I'm going to turn the steering wheel to the right. Steering wheel to the left, you can see how my left hand works inside. My right arm is more on top of my left arm. Then as I go up, I turn the steering wheel to the right. And that changes the way my right arm works in a backswing. When people lay the shaft down, they immediately think they're opening the club face. So if I make a backswing and I have this club shaft laid down, because my right arm is starting to open up, I could make that club face open or closed. Just because the shaft is laying down, it does not mean that I'm making this club face more open. That's how people would see historically a laid down shaft. I could equally lay that shaft down and keep the club face strong. Therefore, the right arm has a job to do. And if you saw my video about body speed and how the left arm works through the strike, you'll appreciate that these arms are going to have to fundamentally do very similar things both sides of the golf swing. And when you start to make the arm, the right arm and the left arm, start to work with how you're using your feet, your shoulders start to back off and start to sit themselves down on your rib cage, holds the structure of your spine, and therefore allows you to move around the ball with a little bit more speed. Hopefully this video has given you some insights. I'm going to hit a couple just to show you what I'm talking about. So there's the external rotation that I'm looking for at the top of my backswing. The midriff on show again there, Stuart. Oh, that was a nice one. So there's the internal, there's the external at the top of the backswing. Bit left that one, bit more midriff again. As I say, I really hope that's been useful. Please subscribe while you're here. Like the video, it certainly helps the channel out and makes me grow a little bit more and keeps me bringing you the content that you all deserve. You have a great golfing day, and I look forward to seeing you, as usual, on the next one.